Harding. Welcome to my blog.stampwithelaine.com and welcome to this week's Fun Friday project. How many of you struggle with teenage cards for boys or masculine cards in general? Well, this Everyday Hero stamp set is just perfect. But what I love about it is that it's not just for him, you can also adapt it for her. I have a sample for a boy for him. In today's video, I'm doing it for her. The materials you need is the Everyday Hero photopolymer stamp set, Delightful Dijon and Melon Mambo ink, Memento black ink, a soft sky marker and Delightful Dijon. Watercolour pencils. I've repackaged mine into a CD case so that it's just easier for me to access, and I've also put my blender pen and watercolour aqua painter in here as well. 2.5 inch circle, 2 inch and 1 inch circle punches, a classic label punch which has replaced the word window punch, and some gold glimmer paper. For the cardstock, I've cut an A4 in half. This measures 4 1/8 and 11 3/4. So in centimetres, that's 10.5 by 29.9 centimetres. With the long side on top, you score at 5 7/8, and that's 14.9 centimetres, and fold it in half. The Delightful Dijon layer is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. That's 9.5 centimetres by 14 centimetres. The Whisper White layer to go on top of the Delightful Dijon has been cut at 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. So that's 8.9 by 13.3 centimetres. We'll also need some Whisper White scrap. With stamping this image here for the rays in Delightful Dijon, and I'm just going to do it by eye. So pretend that there's a circle there, and just go round and turn your cardstock. I've punched out a 2.5 inch circle, gold glimmer, with the 2.5 inch circle punch. With my 1 inch circle punch, I'm going to offer it up all the way in and punch out another hole so that this looks like a donut. And to set that aside while I stamp the girl, I'm using this image here, which is just the body and an arm punching the air like Superman. To stamp her head, and that's the beauty of photopolymer stamps, because it's clear, you can see where you're stamping. Then on another piece of scrap Whisper White cardstock, I'm going to stamp that exact image again, but this time I'll stamp it with her cape. Try and line it up. I'm going to fussy cut the cape out, and the reason why you have to stamp the body but not too fussed about the head is so you can attach it to the main image. Now I punch her out with a 2 inch circle punch. Apply Tombow onto the cloak, but only on part of it. There's too much glue there, so I'm going to have to wipe some of it off and glue it to the rest of her. And you see why I had to do that? Because her cape actually extends beyond that 2 inch circle. And the colours I'm using from the colour pencils are Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight, Calypso Coral for the skin tones, and Bermuda Bay. So first I'm going to colour in her hair. I'm using the flat of my pencil because I don't want lines on it. Changing to Calypso Coral for her skin tones, so I'm just going to, on smaller areas I will have to use the tip of my pencil. Just her hands and probably a little bit on her cheeks. I'm using Melon Mambo for her mask. And the cape, and I'm going round in a circular motion. And for her boots, I'm changing colours to Bermuda Bay. For her suit, pink buckle. Then I'm going to use the brush end of the Soft Sky marker and run an outline round the silhouette. I'm swapping to Delightful Dijon and I'm just following the hairline to create some shadow. Bring in my blender pen and I'll start blending. Again using circular motion. And if I want more intensity, then I can go back in with my pencil and add a bit more. You can add colour, but you can't take colour away, so it's best to have a gentle touch. I'll just go back in here and put a bit of Calypso Coral on her knee. Bring in my classic label punch and I'm just going to punch a tag on the end here, and using the this as a guideline, I'm just going to cut a strip and then insert it and cut the tab on the other side. I'm just going to stamp my sentiment and then I'll make a judgment. Well, if you don't have this punch is great if you have it, but if you don't, you can do it by hand. Bring back the gold glimmer paper where we punch the 1-inch circle and pop it on dimensionals. And then you also want some inside the circle. Sometimes the cardstock won't stick to glimmer paper, so that's why you punch a hole in the middle, and then you can pop her on top like so. Grab your label and curl it with the bone folder. Tombow glue on there. You can glue it on. Tombow glue on the back. Glue it to your Delightful Dijon layer. Tombow on the back of the Delightful Dijon layer and then straight onto your card base, leaving an even border all round. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you like it, do give me a thumbs up, subscribe or share on Facebook, and my grateful thanks if you do. If you're watching from YouTube, you'll find the list of supplies I use below this video in the Show More section with direct links to my online store. They'll also be listed here on my blog.stampwithelaine.com. You can find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. Thanks for watching. and I'll be back with more inspiration for you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.